Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Fake News Show. You know how we do it? This show is where we talk about all you need to know on fake news. Disinformation, no. Misinformation, no. Gist and rumor, all those kind of things. How does it affect you, affect me, and affect us as a nation? How do you identify it? So people don't know. How can you find out if a particular information that was sent to you is fake? Stay with us. We have loads of fun for you on this show. No time to check time. Not go anywhere after this break. I'll be back. I'm coming. Let me drink water. Welcome back. It's Fake News Show and I'm your host, Frank Donga. You see, how does fake news or misinformation affect mental health of victims? For example, look this one now. Say, person, when don't know anything, innocent man, they just lie on top of his head. Maybe the blogging matter. Innocent, he lost his job. He lost his family, maybe his marriage. He lost reputation. How does it affect them? How would they cope? You know how many stories we are seeing on blogs that are lies? Okay, I mention them for you. Okay, it's a particular musician. Some people came out and say, hey, give me belly, give me. After they come and do video again and say, now play with the play now. Imagine say the wife don't vex. How does fake news and misinformation, how does it affect people's psychology? How? Imagine now. Imagine say somebody go carry one gist wey not true about you now. Carry and give your landlord. He pursue you for house. Before they hear say, nah, they don't clarify. You don't late. That's what I'm going to be talking about on today's episode. We have an expert. He's a clinical psychologist. What did I say? Clinical psychologist. Fasten your seatbelt and come along with us. But before then, let's quickly go to the streets and check how people are saying on the streets.
It is what the man gives that the woman will bring out. We know the X and Y chromosomes. The ladies have the XX, while the man will either produce the XX that will result to a female child or XY that will result to a male child. So it is from the man. So it has nothing to do with the ladies.
I know it's not anybody's fault. It don't belong to neither the man or the woman.
Me, my wife born girls. I no get man. So I no even give fault to anybody. I know say na God they give that one. You understand? I get 6 children, all of them girls. 6. So I no blame her, I no blame myself.
Fake news. Welcome back, guys. On today's episode of Fake News Show, we're going to be talking about the effect of fake news on mental health of victims. You see, imagine say somebody go report to police, fake news, and police arrest somebody, in name spoil, they put them, they parade them. How you go feel? How does it continue life from there? And it's fake news. What effect does it have on his family? Imagine that somebody's father was wrongly accused of something. How do we manage all these things? That's why our mental expert in the house is a clinical psychologist. We're going to be talking about all this matter. It's important to talk more. That's why they carry gist and rumor when no concern you. Verify information. Our important expert is here to talk about all these things. So let's talk about how fake news affects mental health after this break. All right, guys, welcome back. And this is Fake News Show. You know how we always do it on this show now. Bring you to Let's Talk. That segment where we always talk with professionals. So they tell us things about this show. On this episode, we're looking at the effect of fake news or misinformation and disinformation on mental health. How does it affect the victims? And in the studio with me now, I'm happy to have a clinical psychologist who's going to be discussing this matter with us. Not that person, but Mr. Samuel Jinodu. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Frank.
How can gist, rumor, fake news, or misinformation affect somebody's mental health?
Well, so far, the study and research on fake news and mental health has been very shallow. There's not been so much research. But from the look of it, fake news has a tendency to make an individual either have mood disorder, you know. So when we look at mood disorder, we're looking at tendency to be depressed or tendency to be anxious, you know, to worry, to get concerned, to be apprehensive, you know. So these are typical things that one would expect to see for someone who had suffered fake news or suffered rumor or, you know, had been a victim of fake news.
So what can be done to such people? So, for example, let me give you a practical example. Maybe somebody was rumored. Maybe fake news came out about somebody, maybe a celebrity, and her marriage. And it was false. And it led to her losing her home or her marriage. How can you help someone like that?
So the effect of fake news, like I was saying, is not just the mood disorder. It can lead to suicide. You know, it can lead to suicide. It can lead to so many mental health challenges depending on the individual that is involved and their ability to cope with that form of news and what the news is all about. You know, it can make an individual lose his marriage, and for someone who treasures marriage and who treasures a happy home, can start having suicidal thoughts. You know, it can lead to substance abuse because the news out there is that this person has done so thing and the person have to go out. The person may want to dull their senses or may want to just zone out from the environment where they are and they decide to go into substances. So there are several factors, there are several health challenges, psychological health challenges that can come up on account of news that are not true or news that are fake concerning an individual.
Where do you begin to treat such people? I mean, somebody just had news now. Maybe wrong information got to him that he's going to die. He has cancer or terminal disease, or he has, you know, anything. And he says, this is the end of my life. Let me just go and drink myself to stupor. And then he gets into that habit of, you know, alcoholism. And it becomes, you know, how do you help somebody who has suffered mental health issues or emotional issues or trauma because of wrong information, disinformation, or fake news?
Okay. So, again, it is not every individual that would come down with mental health challenge on account of fake news. Some people would, you know, reveal the truth and then they move on. Some people are unbothered about fake news. However, for individuals whose resilience is a bit poor and who eventually decide to take up maladaptive life options on account of fake news, you want to look at the severity of the adaptive behavior that they engage in. You want to look at how severe is it, how strong is it to interfere with their ability to carry on their day-to-day life. If it's somebody who is working, how strong is that fake news impeding that person's ability to carry on his job? You know, so these are all things that would determine the level of intervention. For some people, it's just debriefing. For some people, it's brief counseling or brief psychological intervention. For some people, you would want to take legal action. You know, for some people, it's just that sense of justice being done that would cure their psychological trauma.
Wow.
You know, so there are different levels of intervention depending on the person's resilience or the person's ability to cope with the news that's.
So, as a mental health expert, what would you suggest if somebody finds him or herself, you know, falling into depression, or they are afraid to go out because of this wrong information, or they feel embarrassed, or maybe they have been physically hurt?
Thank you for that question. And this brings us back to the need to destigmatize mental health intervention. It's not everybody you see come to the psychiatric hospital or the behavioral medicine center that has Frank or Conk. I don't want to use your name, Frank. So
You don't use them already.
Please pardon me. Conk mental health issue or schizophrenic psychotic challenge. It's not everybody that comes. Some is just like a walk-in center. The way you go to do your medical checkup, some are just coming to check themselves up. So for such kind of individuals, I would recommend that they seek professional help. You know, professional help will look at different areas of their life where they may be affected and may not have known it. You know, probably they are affected in a particular area of their life and they don't know it. Only after years later, they now start realizing that this is what that news back then caused them. So mental health service, the psychologists particularly in this regard now, would explore different areas and explore their resilience and their coping skill, healthy coping skill, and then see how they can, you know, manage this situation so that the news or whatever fake news that came up it's not affecting them and they're able to deal with or just develop tough skin over the news that came up or the consequences. Yeah.
So you mentioned people should seek help if they to get maybe confused, depressed, they have suicidal thoughts because of fake news that has affected them negatively. Which kind of experts?
We have the mental health experts. We have, usually in the mental health facility, it is a multidisciplinary team.
Okay. So it's not just one person.
It's not just one person. So depending on the area of need, that is where the I don't want to use the word patient, the client will be referred to. So if this person have more of a psychological condition where the psychologist will intervene, he or she will be referred to the psychologist to do psychotherapy or to intervene using the psychological instrument or means that the psychologist is trained and licensed to. If it is a case that requires medication, the person is not able to sleep, have apprehension, always have bad dreams and all that because of the medical doctor would want to intervene with respect to how he or she combine medication or pharmacotherapy to help this person able to regain sleep and then discontinue, and then the person is able to continue sleeping.
Thank you very much for that, because a lot of people might not actually understand that sometimes how can fake news or information or misinformation affect somebody's mental or physical health. If somebody hears bad news, maybe somebody just said, your father is dead or somebody you love is dead, and the person goes into shock and says, I was just playing with you. I mean, those are the kind of things we're talking about. I also want you to demystify or bust a few misconceptions about mental health before we go. And I also want you to comment on whether people that intentionally sit down and fabricate fake news, are they mentally okay from your professional point of view? But we'll take a short break. When we come back from that short break, that is what we're going to be digging into. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Fake News Show, and we've been talking about fake news and mental health with Samuel Jinodu, a clinical psychologist. We'll take a short break. Now go, we still there. Gist day. Right after now.
Mr. Frank, you are here for the role of a project manager.
Yes, sir. That's the project manager position. Yes.
Do you have any experience in construction?
I have experience.
Okay.
I have experience because if you are talking about construction now, you understand, it's like fabricate. If you talk about fabricate now, it's like integrate. You understand? It's not that, all those things, they relate. Because even when I was small, I'm in primary school now, they used to call me Fabu Fabricator. Fabu Fabricator. Because nothing that I cannot fabricate is talent. Because as I hear like this, if I just see something like this, I can fabricate it.
So what do you know about Egungun Construct Limited?
Egungun Construct Limited. They are not a reliable company. We are already talking about a company. It can't be like your own company here now. If I even hear that they say their oga is shop money, EFCC is pursuing them. Everybody knows. I know they even tried to interview me before because because their story is everywhere now. They tried to even hire me. I say no. That's why I say it's your company I want to work. That's why I say I must apply to this company.
You tried, but the only problem is that we are Egungun Construct Limited.
Sir, yeah, Egungun Construct.
Yeah.
Let me explain. It seems that you are the MD of this Egungun Construct Limited.
Yes.
So that your company is number one. Maybe they say you collect award last month, Abi.
Mr. Frank, you have to.
The information.
You can just simply.
Is somebody that tell me that.
Use the door.
I should go and wait for my letter. Welcome back, guys. This is Fake News Show, and you know how we do it on this show. They are bringing information on, disinformation, fake news, misinformation. Before the break, we talked about how fake news can affect somebody's mental health, fall into depression, become paranoid. Maybe you have suicidal thoughts. Maybe the person's image, the person becomes ashamed because of the wrong information, or maybe physical health issue because maybe they were deceived into taking overdose, wrong medication. Or we've talked about all that, and you've told us where they can go to get help, from professionals. But let's talk about for a minute people that sit down to lie or spread misinformation. Can somebody maybe lie to the extent that you begin to think there's a mental health issue involved here? Can somebody spread disinformation such that it becomes a medical issue? What's your perception?
Well, for one of the things that define fake news is intention. There must be an intention to drive a message that is not true. that is usually not true. You know, so someone can drive a message that is true but exaggerated. Someone can drive a message that is intentionally not true to get whatever aim or whatever goal he or she wants. So there's always an intent in that. So it is when there's an intent. I don't think, well, people who deliberately fabricate fake news, you may want to term them as people who have antisocial personality, but does it really classify, do they really tick the box to classify as antisocial? Because the behavior seems to suggest so. You know this thing is not true. You want to cause this person pain. You want to cause this person hurt. So there seems to be an element of intent to cause harm, and most of the time you are not remorseful about it. So if you look at it one way or the other, you tend to, want to qualify for an antisocial personality. But again, it is when the individual comes for evaluation, especially the perpetrator. That is when we can say this person has a underlying mental health that influences his behavior to carry out these acts.
Some people lie for financial gains. But when somebody just lies, even when he's not pressed, they lie for clout, come online to tweet what is wrong, or maybe you just can't tell the truth and you are found always giving wrong information and you are always lying. Is there any help that can be given to such people medically?
Well, if the lying behavior is pathological.
How does the lying become pathological?
Well, it becomes pathological when it affects the well-being of the person, when it affects the well-being of other people, when every opportunity the person just seems to lie uncontrollably. The person is not able to control that lie because of an image they want to protect. So when it becomes pathological, yes, However, the person must realize there's a problem.
But is this actually a problem medically or in mental health?
Yeah, some people have that tendency.
That even when you have caught them red-handed, they will still lie. Yeah,
just the way you have kleptomania, where you are not able to, you don't need this thing, but you just want to steal it, to have it. There's a problem. There's a problem there, right? So for such individual, you would want to, first of all, create an insight. Do they really think, or are they aware that this thing is a problem? Are they aware of the consequences of this thing? Are they aware of what this fabricated story is doing? So once they are able to get to that point, and admit that, okay, this is what it is, and I'm not able to, because there are different incentives that drives lie. For somebody to lie, there must be an incentive. There must be something that the person is gaining. It could be, for instance, social media, it could be followers. So there are incentives. So even when you want to break the news, and you break the news in an exaggerated manner because you want to get followers, you want to be the one that everybody will quote and say, there is an incentive there.
So when people get addicted to social media, is that a problem?
It's a problem, yeah, it's a problem.
It can become a mental health issue.
Recently, there has been a lot of research about social media addiction, and yes, it is one of the challenges that is unfolding in mental health. It's a recent development. Social media, the upsurge in social media usage is a recent development, and a lot of research has gone into it with respect to the addictive tendencies of social media. So yes, mental health experts have been, focusing on that as leading to mental health problems.
Thank you very much. Before we go, I want you to bust some or debunk some fake news, mental health for us.
Okay.
First of all, some people believe if you smoke weed, marijuana, or some other narcotics or hard drugs, it can make you pass exam, make you smarter, make you more intelligent, make you more creative in writing songs, or writing a book, or solving mathematical problems. Is that true?
In fact, it makes you duller. It makes you.
Wow.
It makes you even fail more, because you see what's we call them psychoactive. They act on your psyche. They act on your mind. Those drugs, that's why we call them psychoactive. They act on your mind. They alter the functioning of your mind. So you can be reading just a page or a paragraph, and you spend hours because you think as you read you are getting ideas. Meanwhile, you're supposed to read other pages. You know, I used to have a client who told me that he thought marijuana would make him have creativity and then pass his exams, only for him to be reading and then he keeps failing, has a lot of carryovers.
Wow.
You know, because what marijuana does is it makes you have what we refer to as amotivation. Amotivation is you are just aloof, you are just contented. There is no urgency, there is no need for you to, you know, hustle, put pressure, you know, make efforts to achieve anything. You are just happy, you are just on your own. Let them be on their own, let me be on my own. So you see them, they don't go to classes, you see them, they don't, there's no, a bit lackadaisical, you know. Marijuana has that tendency to induce that, and most of the time it does. You know, it has tendency, it has been shown by research to be related to the causes of psychotic disorder. Psychotic disorder is when an individual is losing sense of reality. The person is losing touch with reality. So, in as much as people would want to talk about marijuana, you know, people will talk about marijuana for different interests. But for mental health, for the mental health aspect, it has a whole lot of mental health challenges that it can bring on. Marijuana can bring on.
So in short, smoking weed or taking other similar hard drugs does not make you more intelligent.
It makes you less intelligent.
Thank you very much for watching this segment, and thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Samuel Jinadu. He's a clinical psychologist. We have more for you after this show. Not go anywhere, gist it, because we are going to be busting many fake news on mental health and general health after this break.
You see, much people out there, the problem with you now, any small information that you got, you want to go around and spread it. You didn't even bother to confirm the ferocity and capacity of that statement. You just believe that, okay, sweet gist, let me go ahead and spread it. Meanwhile, you are spreading rumor, you are spreading a false information. Oh, my God, you are the problem of everybody in this world. And peradventure, you yourself, you are in a position of high standing. Understand, you are a person of high casual in society. You still go ahead and give your citizen misinformation. It's not good. Don't spread the fake news. Stop it.
Welcome back, guys. If you are just joining us, you don't late small. Next week, not miss the time. But we just spoke with our expert, a clinical psychologist, Samuel Jinadu. Talk to us about the effect of fake news on mental health. You know, even the fake news about mental health. Some people believe, say, if you make you more intelligent. Expert don't talk. Oh. You don't talk calm now. You don't talk calm out. All the fake news they come, we the bust down for here. So stand by. We have more fake news we want to bust for you. You stay where? Now me go bust down. No, now we still did West Africa, our partners. Join some other people. We will bust it. Calm down now. Just calm down. We are going to bust it after now. More will go on break. Break is good for the body. We'll come back and bust the news for you. On, you don't cast. You don't cast now. If you don't cast, you don't cast. We'll see.
CDD Fact Check Report. Fake News Alert.
Does smoking marijuana prevent coronavirus? The claim that marijuana is preventing Jamaicans from having coronavirus is false. Jamaica has 16 cases of coronavirus as at March 20, 2020. Also, there is no evidence that smoking prevents coronavirus. Rather than prevent the virus, health experts believe smokers are at higher risk of getting viruses and have worse outcomes.
I believe that there are fake news all around. Fake news plus fake news equals to lumber.
So welcome back, guys. You heard about fake news and mental health today. So all this one say you can slap sense to somebody. They say na crime or na assault or person we not well. They slap him. Person we don't take drug, they slap him. They say you want to slap sense to him. Say if you take one or two things, it will make you intelligent. Expert don't talk, say it's a lie. We don't do, and you don't all the news we don't debunk. Always verify information. Do you have a personal experience you want to share with us on fake news? You want to join in the conversation? Give us a shout out. Send us a message on Twitter, Instagram, at CDD West Africa. At CDD West Africa. Join in the conversation. Hashtag Stop Fake News or hashtag Fake News Show. If you like, if you tag me, I know you'll complain. I go send your message to the people who are supposed to hear them. But remember, everything you are doing, verify that information before you spread it. Is it true? Is it correct? Don't spread fake news. So, on behalf of all the crew that brought you this episode, we thank you for joining us. Next week, we are going to bring you another hot, fresh, as the hot episode. Join us then. And this program is an initiative of CDD West Africa with the support of USAID and India. Watch us again next week. Don't spread it. I mean fake news.
Fake News Show is an initiative of Center for Democracy and Development with support from USAID through the National Democratic Institute.